everybody, and a mindful morning to you. My name is Claudia H. Brady, and welcome to the Citizen Live. As you can tell, we are so excited to have you guys join us today for our 21st session of Mindful Mornings. Grayson's going to be joining us today with his downward dogs. Now, it looks like he's going to settle more into it than most. Alrighty. Today we're going to focus on centering that confidence that comes from within us. There are some poses that exude confidence just by the way we are positioning ourselves. And so, especially during this season, I'd like you to find a nice flow, have something to relate back to when you're needing that self-confidence boost that sometimes we all might feel like we have to. I know there are some self-care activities like, doing your makeup, taking a bath, taking care of yourself, doing your nails and such. Of course, I'm only mentioning some that are just the outward appearance, but the other things that you might have not considered is also movement within your body, whether it's dance, yoga, Vinyasa in its style. It's more of a flowing movement. As we get to the point where we do one breath per movement. And that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to find our way working through the full flow. And, but we're going to settle into some areas where you're just going to feel that confident boost come up. You're also going to feel powerful. You're going to feel like you're getting into some deep areas and maybe some emotions might come up. So with that being said, today we're going to get started in our Supta Baddha Konasana. So allow the soles of your feet to press into one another and allow your spine to just release down onto the mat. Once you're ready, go ahead and invite whichever hand you might like to your chest and another one to your belly. Allow yourself to settle in here as your elbows release down towards the mat. Keeping your chin neutral here. If you're holding any tension, allow your ear to drop to the right or to the left. Allow yourself to just start to settle in here. Allowing the noises that might come up to fade away in the distance. Creating that connection with these spaces that are connected to the mat. So instead of just feeling that mat coming up and pressing against maybe your sacrum or your low spine, your shoulders, maybe the blades press down towards the mat. Allow now the soles of your feet to press into one another and allow that tension to release, starting at the hips as the knees start to open up. Just allow that gravity to take over at this moment. And on your next exhale, release any left tension, unnecessary tension at the hips. Once you're ready, exhale, sigh it out, yawn it out, let it go. Beautiful. Allowing yourself to just come to this space where you trust the space around you. So your eyelids are able to release, grow heavy. Allow your lips to also release. Maybe the jaw releases. At times we can grind our teeth together during our sleep, during our waking hours. Maybe as a residual of anger, tension, stress. Let it go at this moment, let it fade away. Just imagine yourself just like an onion having all these layers that slowly start to peel off. Just like a flower as the petals start to open up, shining bright. And then release any tension. Just let it be. At this moment, you're allowing yourself to grow tall through the crown to the back of the room. Beautiful. Settle in here. We're going to take our 5 deepest breaths of today, engaging our Ujjayi breath. It simply means we're going to restrict the breath through the back of the throat. Sounds a little bit like this. And as we exhale, imagine there's a mirror right underneath your nostrils and see if you can fog up that mirror. Beautiful. To add more power to your breath here, allow your belly to expand. Make a space for your chest and your lungs to expand. And as you're ready to exhale, invite that navel to pull back. Beautiful. Full inhale. Full exhale. As you inhale and as you grasp for the air, maybe allow that vibrating sensation to happen in the back of your throat. Take a pause at the top. Explore here what your lungs have to give to you. Maybe the need to want to exhale. With control, exhale through your nostrils. Our last 2 breaths is everything we've spoken about. Engage. Full inhale. Full exhale. Last breath all together here in this Supta Baddha position. And exhale. Beautiful. Once you're ready, allow those knees to come to a close. And drop your weight to the right side of the room. You just want to allow those legs to remain right where they are. And focus on stacking both knees towards the right side of the room. Now by this time your arms have come out wide. Imagine at your shoulders your face like a T. Maybe even start to slightly involve a neck stretch here by looking towards the left side of the room. Very gently waking up our spine here. Allowing our inhale and our exhales to grow a little bit deeper into the supine twist. Once you're ready, find your way to a neutral neck facing up towards the sky. Knees come in through center. And as you exhale, allow both stacked knees, both stacked heels to drop towards the left side of the room. Maybe look right this time. Now if at this moment you're wearing your shoulders up like earrings, go ahead and drop your shoulders back. You'll find that your shoulder blades start to hug into one another, protecting the spine, maybe allowing you to get that nice neck stretch as we look right. Beautiful. At all, I'd like you to be kind and remember that just like anything with practice, you grow in depth. So be compassionate with yourself here. Push as much as you can. Take your spaces of restoration when you need to. Those poses are there for you, for your growth. And most of all, let's have fun as we empower ourselves today. Find your knees to come in through center as you find your spine to look back up towards the sky. Once you're ready, Exhale, hugging in those knees towards the chest. Keep those heels tucked nicely and gently back towards your glutes. Now we want to stretch the toes pressing towards the front of the mat in order to activate our shins, the top of our legs here. Beautiful. Now flex the heels as your toes now look up towards the sky. Beautiful. Every exhale, you pull in those knees in gently closer towards the chest. Beautiful. Next exhale is going to allow us to press the heels up towards the sky. Now, it really doesn't matter if your legs are not one straight leg. It's okay to have a bend in the knee, and it's okay to not even be reaching up there. Sometimes it takes some time for the back of the legs to grow and find that space. So just allow yourself to be wherever you are. We just want the legs to be now reaching up towards the sky. And we're going to stay here for a couple breaths as we allow the blood to just start to rush out of our legs. It's okay. At this moment, any movement that is acceptable and beneficial will be to flex your toes, to flex your heels, and maybe start gaining awareness of where the stretch is when you flex your toes. It is an abduction here, so we will feel the legs, the top of the leg being involved. And when we flex the heel, it'll be the back of the leg, the quads, the calves, and such. So maybe find that stretch, maybe find a couple circles here. Beautiful, you got it. Now listen carefully. We're going to bend in those knees towards the chest. Reach those heels towards the glutes as we ground down right underneath our knees. Start peeling that tailbone, starting by the sacrum, starting at the tailbone, reaching your way up towards your shoulder blades. Once you are grounded down safely on your shoulder blades and your knees are stacked on top of your heels, then go ahead and find those hands to maybe reach opposite webbing. Now you'll find that if you roll onto your shoulder blades, you can find this space a little bit more easier. Wherever you are, you can keep your hands grounded next to where your glutes used to be. Keeping that head neutral. We're placing quite a bit of weight on our neck area, on our shoulder blades area, especially if you rolled over to those shoulder blades. So be very mindful of where you're looking. This is where our drishti, our point of focus, comes in mind, and just focus on flexing those glutes to press those hips up towards the sky. You want to keep those knees hugging in at the same time as we abduct. Those thighs pressing maybe into one another, or keeping that 6-inch distance. Beautiful. Ground down through the mat here. You got it. Stay focused. Allow your full inhales and allow your matching exhales. Slowly we're going to start movement. So once you're ready, allow your spine with control to come down for 3, 2, 1. Sacrum is the last thing to come down. We're going to come right back up, but this time we're going to move with our breath. So once you're ready, press away from the mat. Inhale, reach your hips up towards the sky. Imagine now your full body is expanding here. Every single space is shining up towards the sky and opening up, resisting gravity. And exhale slowly and with control. Imagine you're pressing down a piece of tape, and that is your spine. You want to make sure there is no bubbles in between. Once you're ready, inhale, press those hips up. We're going to do this motion 3 more times here. So just make sure you take your time. Make sure you lengthen your inhales and match your exhales. Keep a neutral spine here. And focus on keeping those knees stacked on top of the hips. Exhale, 2 more. Beautiful. Don't forget about the breathing and expanding the belly. And the exhale, pulling the navel up and back towards the spine. Beautiful. Last one. And exhale. Release the spine down towards the mat. Once you're ready, allow yourself to come onto the right side of your body for a side embryo. Beautiful. Settle in here. Once you're ready, we're going to go ahead and bend at the right elbow as we allow ourselves to have a nice little stand for our neck. Now, we don't want to stretch. We just want a nice little rest foothold here. And we want to keep both knees stacked, both heels stacked. Once you're ready, we're going to open at the knees and the knees only, but making sure those hips are in line with the shoulders. Once you're ready, open the knee only. Beautiful. You're going to feel it on the outside of your thigh. We're going to do that 4 more times. Now we want to exhale and lift up the knee, but we want to slowly restrict and allow ourselves to very gently release the knee on top of the other one. So I don't want you doing this. I want you to inhale and open up. And exhale, close. Beautiful. So we're working on the leg coming up and on the leg coming down. And finding ourselves once more, keeping those glutes stacked on top of one another. Full inhale. And full exhale. Once you're ready, allow both heels to grow long towards the front of the mat. Beautiful. Now at this moment, we might feel ourselves a little bit out of balance. It's okay. You can ground down through your hips, or you can allow yourself to come onto your elbow and your forearm instead. Wherever you are, we're just gonna raise that top leg and isolate the right leg. Hi Christian, good to see you. Let's get our workout today. Now we wanna make sure that we're not dropping down our weight on that shoulder, but rather lifting. Beautiful. There we have already created a triangle right underneath us, and we're only focused on grounding through the hips, through the bottom leg, and down through the forearm. Once you're ready, flex your heels and reach your leg up towards the sky. Beautiful. At this moment, you'll find a space where your shoulders and your hips will want to rotate. That is your expression, what I like to call it. That is as far as we're going to get today. So that is your measure of how far you can go today. So as you can see, this is as far as I can go before my hip opens up. So I'm going to stay within this space. And just focus on lifting up as you exhale and slowly resisting as you come down. Beautiful. So imagine you're lifting weights, and sometimes you hear how the weights smack against one another. We are trying to resist ourselves from doing that and just releasing the leg down, but rather working on the way up and on the way coming down. 2 more to go. Beautiful. We should feel that on our side obliques. We should definitely feel that on our left leg. And once you're ready, release. Find both knees to come to a bend. Press your way into a seated position and allow both legs to grow long. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. We're coming into a forward fold. Allow yourself to meet any distance. And we're going to find our focus here to look forward. Look straight forward, maybe even past your toes. Beautiful. There you go. Now we want to imagine that instead of pressing our forehead down to the mat, we want to shine that chest down towards the chest, and maybe the head releases at any moment. But the movement and the power here is coming from our biceps as we work our torso maybe a little bit more, inching it towards the top of the thighs. Once you're ready, inhale lifts you up to rise. And we're going to go ahead and find our way now to come onto our left side of the body. We're gonna start in our full side embryo here, so just go ahead and find your way to lay on your left bicep this time. Stack both hips onto one another, stack both knees and both heels. Beautiful. Now you're gonna welcome those heels back towards the glutes as much as is possible. Just imagine there. And find your final expression. Now bending into your elbow, allowing your head to have a little nightstand here. And we're gonna open up that knee, keeping that connection with the heel and the toes, the sole of the foot. Beautiful. So just focus on lifting that knee up towards the sky. Now only go as far as both hips are still actively pressing to one another. So if you find yourself rolling onto your glute, then you've gone a little bit too far. Remember, we want to keep the core engaged. So maybe you need a little extra grip in here with your right hand down onto the mat. Beautiful. Restrict and slowly and with intention coming down instead of using the momentum. Allowing yourself here 3 more breaths as we turn up the music a little bit more. Beautiful. Last one. And this time press out through the heels as you straighten both legs. Now here your balance might already be like, woo, right? That's okay. Take some time to settle in. Find both hips to stack on top of one another. Both heels maybe don't reach. I have quite big thighs, so both of my heels don't even touch, and that is quite okay. You're already engaged. Now you can stay here on your elbow, or you can increase a little bit here, then bring your elbow and your palm down onto the mat. Now, make sure that you're not drooped down on your shoulder, but instead trying to stack both shoulders on top of one another here, remaining engaged on your left obliques, creating a triangle right under you. Once you're ready, we're gonna lift that top leg up towards the sky. As you can see, my right hip is a little bit more open than my left, and yeah, that makes sense. I tend to hold a little tension on my left side when I'm running. So wherever you are here, find the same space and the same movement. Allow your inhales to lift you up and your exhales to slowly bring you down. Allowing yourself to find this movement. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. And finding our last one here. Beautiful. This time we're just gonna easily find our way onto our belly. Allow your soles of the foot, no, I shouldn't say the soles of the foot, I should say the tops of the feet to press down onto the mat, but allow your feet to come to mat with edge. We want to allow that space here as we go into our back bends. Now, bring those elbows right gently close next to your chest and ground down through all knuckles, spreading your fingers wide. When you're ready, simply just press, shining your torso to lift up towards the sky. And we're gonna find that stretch at the mid-back, not at the low back. We should not be feeling any pain at the low back. Allow those legs to engage, maybe press on the tops of the foot enough so that the knee has popped off the mat. Beautiful, we wanna protect that spine. And stack those shoulders if you can on top of the elbows. Now once you're ready, those palms come to the mat edges as well. And then we're gonna press on those palms as we lift our elbows. Now our pelvis, our pubis is the one pressing down on towards the mat while our shoulders peel back behind us. If we're wearing them up like shoulder blades, then simply extend your arms a little bit further and scoop them back behind you. You want to feel both shoulder blades pressing into one another, and you should feel no tension whatsoever in your neck. So make the adjustments necessary here. Once again, press the pubis down onto your mat so your glutes are engaged, the tops of your legs are engaged, and the knee maybe is popped off the mat. I should say lifted, not popped. Bad choice of word. Slowly we're gonna come down how we came in. Elbows come down to the mat. frame your hands in line with your elbows. And this time, allow yourself now to bring your chest down to the mat. Your brow down to the mat. Once you're ready, slowly scoot those legs to press into one another. Now we want one cobra tail. So we want those toes touching, maybe the heels touching. Once you're ready, inhale, look up, press up, way up. As we find our Sphinx pose, we want those shoulders stacked on top of the elbows. We want that neckline long. We want to make sure our hands are right directly under, in line with our elbows. And once again, our legs are engaged. Stay here, or go ahead and find dolphin pose once again. Not dolphin, seal pose, as we find our hands to the corner edges, pressing on our palms, coming up. Beautiful. As you're ready, release forehead to the mat, let it all go. Press your way now into a tabletop. Once you're ready, tuck your toes, press your tailbone up and back, find your very first down dog, shake it out, let it go. Now we're going to spend 30 seconds here on our very first down dog, and then we're going to make our way into hip openers. We're going to take our time in those hip openers, so if you need some water, go ahead and drop to your knees and take some in now. At any moment you need a break, feel free to drop to your shins to allow your knees to come wide, toes touching, and find the child's pose, restorative and or active. Please, please, please find this expression whenever needed. You don't have to be tired to find this expression. Maybe your mind is wondering. Maybe sort of emotion is winning. Maybe you just don't feel connected or in balance. Your heart is racing, and or maybe you feel dizzy. Maybe you're not really feeling your full inhale and matching exhale. For any reason, for all, for none, this child's pose is very beneficial. Once you're ready, right leg presses back behind you, three-legged dog. Excuse me. We're going to stay here as we frame both hips down towards the mat. Exhale, hug the right knee in towards the chest. And flex the heel as you ground down the foot. Now at this moment, we're going to allow ourselves to really walk those toes up towards the front of the mat. Pardon the silly noise. It's just my foot on the mat. And allow the left knee. My producer's like, what is going on? Allow the left knee to come down. Maybe you need that space. Clearly I do. And allow the top of your left foot to ground down onto the mat. Now that front knee is at all times at a 45-degree here. So if you have that knee coming even a little bit forward, then your heel, go ahead and just find those feet to reach a little bit further up. Now this might be enough for you, and as I've talked about, some nice tools are a block. What we want to do is we want to find ourselves erect on that spine. We want to make sure our shoulders are stacked on top of the hips as we press both hips forward and down. Now, but we want to avoid it is the back bend here in this manner. We want to avoid dropping all our way into our low back. Instead, engage your core and then press down through the hip as you bend into that front knee. Beautiful. Don't forget to engage that thigh. Now, the block can be here for you. You can place it wherever you need it. Inhale, arms to reach up and biceps next to the ears. Maybe this is good enough for you. Maybe you're needing a little bit more support. Cross at your webbing, press your palms up towards the sky, and simply allowing just the arms to come and lay on top of your knee. Now, there should be minimal weight on those knees. This should be just to be able to track your chest to stay upright if you're still working on that core. Beautiful. We should feel that stretch on that left hip, as maybe one of these days we might be able to press that hip down onto the mat. If you're using that block, you'll feel that your inhale and your exhale allow you to maybe need a lower space in the block. So find the movements, find the adjustments, making sure your hips are actively both boxed and squared forward. Like I said, we're going to stay in some of these poses for quite a bit. But at this moment, allow your shoulders to melt back. Look forward. And find the power in this pose. Keep that knee tracked and held in. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Listen very carefully. Our movement is going to be very slow. Wherever you are, your hands are going to come right next to your hips. Release your hands for support down onto your mat, and remove that block if you have one. Now shifting both hips in one railroad track, find your left hip to stack on top of the knee. Beautiful. Now at this moment, both hips are square. And if there is a bend to your knee, go ahead and press your heel forward. So we don't want to drop the heel back any further than just stacking on top of that knee. Beautiful. It might take some time here to get used to that space. Find the block for support if you need to, wherever you need to. At this moment, I'm going to ask you to flex your toes. We want to work on that top side of the body. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. This may be enough here for you, or you may want to find cactus arms. Maybe some of you are working for standing splits, so not standing splits, for the splits, so find that heel to rock forward. Wherever you are, slowly find your hands to come down towards the mat, and grounding down through the right leg. Tap your left toes and press your way to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, come into your chair. Inhale, root to rise. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Bend both knees, and we're going to do the same motion on the right side. Find that right leg to press back behind you. Find a runner's lunge first, and then release the right knee down onto the mat as you tuck your toes. Let me see if I'm going to be able to do it on this side. Maybe do as I say and not as I do. Are you able to give me a rag? Find that heel on top, stacked on top. Find that knee stacked on top of the heel. And now press both hips forward. Find the biceps back behind the ears. Or maybe back loving 2 inches. Sorry guys, I'm still working through an injury, so bringing weight on that right knee is quite painful. So sometimes a little extra cushion will do wonders when you're working through an injury. And we're just going to go ahead and settle in here. I'm definitely going to need the block on this area, on this side, for a little bit more support. So just like I said, it doesn't matter how many years you've been practicing. Maybe there are some areas that need a little attention and tending to. Maybe you're recovering from another activity that you do, an injury. And so it's nice to be gentle with our body, to attack each day as if we're a new day, to explore and see how far our expression is today, And to just be able to reside in that space, knowing that we did the best that we could, knowing that we're getting the ultimate benefit for our body today, and that each day will be a different day, sort of as they say, one day at a time. Beautiful. So really focus on engaging that core, stacking your shoulders on top of your hips as you press that hip down. Your hip flexor now should really be getting a nice deep stretch at this moment. And when we're getting into those hip flexors, we want to make sure we give it time, because it's deep under that muscle tissue. It's that deep muscle that's under that deep muscle tissue, so we want to allow those areas to relax and release. That's why our breath is so important. Beautiful. Sometimes Billy Babe, my dog, relaxes so much during class you could hear her sonking out. So that's why it's so essential for us to be careful and slowly coming out, because we're coming into some deep tissue stretches here. So find that block out of your way. Use it if you need it. Track both hips now back. Now we want to make sure we stack that right hip on top of the knee, and then it's all up to that left heel, that front heel. Maybe you're not on your left heel, maybe you're doing backwards. It's all up to that front heel to find its way forward, but we don't want to compromise that hip. Beautiful. So find your juicy spot here, and inhale, arms reach up, biceps behind the ears. Maybe this time shine your chest as you did so on the other side. Maybe start working your way towards the splits. And wherever you are, slowly coming out. Tuck your right toes. Let me see if I can roll it. And ground down through your palms. Left leg presses back behind you, 3 leg tap. So as you can see, even a rag, even a towel can do a difference for you. Can mean access to a space, even if it's just to feel what it's like to be in that area. Ground down through the right toes, left toes shift forward. And we're going to come into our first chaturanga. When you're ready, exhale halfway. Inhale, up dog. Now we want to make sure we press those hips forward and we melt those shoulders back. Beautiful. Now everything is floating up off the mat. And once you're ready, roll over your toes and find your down dog. Inhale, left leg presses back behind you. This is an optional space. Everybody hug in the left knee towards the chest. Ground it down. Inhale, arms reach up. We're going to find crescent lunge this time. And we're going to settle here into crescent lunge. As you can see, it might be a little bit easier to fall into that crescent lunge this time around. Elbows come out towards the side. You can stay here or bring those elbows to try to press into one another as we shine our chest up towards the sky. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. And go ahead and drop that right heel as we come into our very first warrior one. From here, we're going to find our way through our center and turn to look to the right side of the room. Stay here. We're going to find this space here. Now I know some of you guys are like, well, let's go into warrior 2, not yet. Be patient with your body. When you're ready, left elbow releases down to the left knee or tracks inside. Beautiful. Stay here or open up your wingspan. You got it. Once you're ready, both hands will cartwheel through center. Listen carefully. Bring both toes towards one another. Bring both heels towards one another. Settle into Malasana, squat pose. We're going to stay here for a hot second, which in reality means a whole minute. So find your way slowly down on the mat. Maybe finding a block. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe even just dropping your hips is enough. Go ahead and bring a block under you and measure your space. Allow yourself to have something of substance underneath you to feel you, to have meet the distance. And then maybe slowly you'll find that block finding its way into maybe the smallest side. Sometimes we just need something to feel safe and brave enough to pursue the pose or the expression that we want. Feel free to bring a rag as well and or a strap. If you're working on binds here, prayer's hand is a mudra. It's an expression. The right hand presses into the left. Those elbows allow your knees to open up a little bit more. Now remember, we want to involve the pelvic floor. We want to activate that. That is a bandha. That is a blockage. That is something that we block off in order to preserve our energy. There are many ways of referring to this pelvic floor and this exercise. You may have heard of it as Kegels. Wherever you are, just imagine that tailbone of yours. And imagine now you are a bird. And that tailbone is the tip of your feathers. Now what I want you to imagine and do, now press that tailbone down towards the mat. You won't actually make contact, but we want to head the tailbone in that direction. And at that moment, you'll start to feel your pelvic floor activating. It'll be like a pulsing sensation. Beautiful. There you go. You can stay here or find a bind. Like I say, we're gonna be here for a hot second. You can find 15 seconds on one side, 15 seconds on the other. All you have to do is simply find your palm now, thumb leading back, bend at the elbow as you grasp to reach, to grasp for that knee. Now right now, I'm able to touch the back of my thigh. I can then bring the opposite hand back behind you, thumb leading, to try and reach for opposite hand. If you do this side, make sure you find time to switch around and maybe take inventory of the space that you have in each side. If you created bind, go ahead and find your other side. We have 15 seconds here. You got it. You're strong. Focus. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beautiful. Binds slowly start coming out. Everybody listen carefully. Press your hips up towards the sky. Then pivoting on your heels, we're gonna find our way to look forward. We're gonna stagger those toes, but the heels want to be in one line. Once you're ready, find an inhale, half lift. You want to separate the thighs from your torso. And as you're ready, exhale. Just tucking in your chin, but remaining in a neutral spine. Try and see if you can bring that forehead to the knee. Beautiful. So it's not that my chin isn't meeting my chest so much at this moment, as it is my chest rising and finding its way towards the top of my leg. It is at that last moment where I tuck my chin and try and see if I can meet my knee. Once you're ready, inhale for a half lift. Bend off both knees. Find your way into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, find your chair. Inhale, root to rise. And exhale, swan back, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. This time bend both knees, left leg presses staggered about 6 inches from the right leg. Inhale, half lift up a straight spine. Now we want to make sure that we engage the quad as to not hyperextend and press the knee back behind you. So if you're not able to engage the quad yet, do not straighten out the leg to lock the knee. Once you're ready, find a full spine, straight spine now. To try and see if you can find maybe your torso on top of your thigh. At the very last moment, you tuck in your chin, forehead to knee. Beautiful. Once you're ready, inhale, half lift, bend the front knee. As you invite the left leg to press further back behind you, we're coming into a runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Now we're going to match what we did on the other side. Bellow out your elbows and then shine your chest up as you try to find both elbows to press into one another, back behind you. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, drop your left heel now. Finding warrior one. Your hands meet your chest at prayer. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. So instead of opening up with our wingspan, we're just going to look and turn to the left. Keeping bent into that front knee. Bringing the right elbow to just track on top of the right knee. Now go ahead and allow your wingspan to come long. Both hands cartwheel down through the center. Pivot on that right heel. This time 2 toes press into pigeon. The heels flare up. Inhale, half lift with a straight spine. And exhale, forward fold. Shake out your head. Look right in between your legs. Let it go. Beautiful. Inhale, half lift. This time, work your hands to your hips and maybe stay here and or slide it down to the back of your legs as you find a forward fold, maybe finding your heels. Beautiful. Shake out your head. There should be no tension in your shoulders. Only your biceps are involved. Drop your weight towards your heels. Don't be afraid. You're okay. Find your final variation here. Maybe if you're working on inversions. We're going to come into our biggest hip openers of all. Once you're ready, inhale, find a half lift. Frame now forward to the top of the mat. Ground down through all knuckles, right leg presses back behind you, 3-legged dog. Release the right leg down, shift forward. Let's find plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, find your down dog. Time to check. 10:35. Beautiful. Feel free to take a drink of water. Left leg presses back behind you, 3-legged dog. Exhale, hug it in towards the chest. Round it down. Coming right into warrior one. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, open up warrior two. Bring your hands at heart center. Coming into the same space that we did, triangle pose, maybe even allowing our arms to come long or reach towards the front of the room, and or any variation. Beautiful, you got it. Hands come in through center. Pivot on the toes, find your way into a forward fold here. Wide-legged forward fold. Hands come to the hips. Inhale, root to rise. Now we're gonna bring those heels closer towards one another. And we're gonna come into a goddess pose. Inhale, star. And we're gonna settle into goddess here. So really make sure you have yourself grounded through your, can you turn down the music? Grounded through your soles. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, bend at the elbows. Beautiful. Seems like today at the Citizen Life, we've gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. Even Billy has been kind of funny today. Let us know how you're feeling here. What emotions are you feeling? Maybe this is enough, or maybe you try to find both elbows pressing into one another. Maybe this is enough, or maybe you'd like to find a bind. Find your space here. Settle in. Beautiful. Release the bind if you have one. Inhale, arms reach up. And pivot on that left heel. We're gonna frame to look forward. Beautiful. Bend into that front knee and allow your left leg to reach back. Warrior one. Open up, warrior two. Who wants to see Shayla doing some yoga? Find your triangle here. Who's with me right now? Producer? Nobody's with me right now on Facebook Live. Tisk, tisk, tisk. It's okay, guys. These videos are always archived on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, The Citizen Life, as well as www.thecitizenlife.com. Why not, right? Find both hands through center. Pivot on your heels. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, find your forward fold. Can you connect the crown of your head down to the mat? Inhale, half lift. And exhale, pivot over to the left heel. Grounding down through both palms, find your way. Left leg presses back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, hug it in towards the chest. Finding pigeon. So just go right to it. This is the very last pose of today. We want to make sure we have time to match it. So let's get right to the space and find a full 60 seconds here. Maybe at this moment, if you've been practicing on doing the splits, find yourself doing the splits instead. Thirty more seconds. Allow full inhales and full exhales. Beautiful. Feel that depth. feel the power that comes from that depth. Feel thankful here of the space that you're able to come to your mat. And slowly maybe start to close your eyes here. Ground down through your palms. Find the left leg to press back behind you. Create any movement that feels good for you. We're going to start winding down now. Left leg presses back behind you. Right leg presses back behind you. Hug it in towards the chest. Match on your right side what you did on your left side for your pigeon. Come into your expression for 1 whole minute. Allow yourself to just be still in this space. Trust that you have everything it takes. Every single space, every single pose that you work today built into this space. Release any tension, let it go. Allow yourself to trust. Explore. Final 3 breaths. Maybe by now your shoulders are released. Your hips feel a little bit looser. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Relax the parasympathetic system. Woke up quite nasally today. I apologize. Ground down through your hands and find your way into a 3-legged dog. Create the last movements that you did on that side. And find yourself to a seated position. Feel free to find a dead man's pose if you'd rather end there. I'm going to urge you to end either in a butterfly pose, a fire log pose with both shins parallel to the top of the mat, and or a lotus. If you're working on your lotus, maybe half lotus. We want to still embrace those hip openers, even at that last pose. So maybe Supta Baddha. It's a good space for you. Slowly allow your eyes to grow heavy. And I'd like to just leave you today with this thought. The energy that you've created today, liken it to an experience. That is to say, you've done all the hard work that it takes to sow this emotion, this feeling, this state of mind, this connection. Right now, a lot of us are not able to travel. Right now, a lot of us are a stay-at-home order. We would like nothing more than to just book a plane ticket, do the research, go to the nearest beach, park, get there. But when we get there, we don't say, okay, I've had enough. We don't get off the airplane. We don't say, oh, okay, well, I saw it. I smelled the air. I felt the breeze. I saw the people, so 5 minutes later, get back on our foreign method of travel and go back. No, we indulge in. We find ourselves to want to be part of the community, to experience, to try the food, to see the people, to learn the language, to try and understand the way of life. Just in the same manner, I ask you and I invite you to find yoga in the same manner. Is that communion of your body with your mind. And if you like to believe, your soul. Allow this communion to ring on and ring through the rest of your day. Just the same way that you tested out, that you knew you could do it, that you knew the pain, the discomfort would only be temporary, just the same way, this too will come to pass. With that being said, inhale, your arms reach up overhead. And we end today's class with a lion's breath. Stick out your tongue. Embrace the power you've gained today. Share it with your friends. Share it with those you love. I love to see or hear how yoga has affected you, how these mindful mornings have influenced you. Maybe change your perspective. Maybe gain some mindfulness in your mornings. Hence the name. Thank you to my co-producer, Shaylin Brady. My name is Claudia H. Brady. And we'll see you tomorrow for our very last session of Mindful Mornings in April 2020. Namaste.